Hey YouTube, it's B-Boy1313, a brand like to call me that, and today I'm going to be showcasing my Dark Magician deck profile post-September 2020 ban list. Now, this is one of my favorite decks personally because I love Dark Magician, and second, this is one of the first decks that I have ever built since last year, and ever since then, it has been upgraded with some better cards, and now I am somewhat happy with the options that I have chosen for this deck. I know I might be missing a few copies of certain cards, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this. Starting off with our monsters, we have Secret Black Magician, we have Ultra Black Magician, and we have the pale looking golden Black Magician. I prefer this artwork than the original because in the OCG his name is Black Magician. Another card we are playing in the deck is Red-EyesDarkDragoon, and as you guys can already tell, yes, we are playing Dragoon in this deck because we finally got our copy of Dragoon and we can easily go into it with this deck. As for the vanilla monsters, we do run one Dark Magician girl. You don't really need to play 3 or 2. 1 is perfectly fine because if you have more than 1, then you can easily break with your hand. Same goes for Red-EyesDarkDragoon. This is basically a Dark Magician deck, so if you're going to run a Dark Magician deck, you need to run multiple copies of Dark Magician. Starting with our actual effect monsters, we are playing triple copies of Magician's Rod. This is your searcher for your deck. What Magician's Rod does is that when it's normal summon, you can add any Dark Magician spell or trap card that is specifically lists Dark Magician in its text. It could be Eternal Soul, it can be Soul Servant, it could be Circle. Literally any card this could search for, except for Eye of Timaeus for some reason, because Eye of Timaeus says Dark Magician monsters. Don't ask me on that. It's the way how Konami ruled it. We are playing 1 Magician Souls in this deck because we only own 1 Magician Souls. I highly recommend not buying this card because this card costs $80 to $100 or whatever. My friend pulled it for me. I traded my Liquid Soldier for that, and I got pretty lucky with this one. What she does is that you send a level 6 or higher spellcaster to the graveyard and either special summon itself or a copy of Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from the graveyard. And also, if she's on the field, you can send up to 2 spell or traps on the field or in the hand and draw that many cards. Next, we run double copies of Apprentice Illusion Magician. This card also searches for Dark Magician as long as you discard a card and special summon her to the field. And she has this Honest Neos effect where if your opponent attacks this monster or any dark monster or dark spellcaster monster that you control, you can discard this card from your hand and that monster gains 2,000. So it's technically like a Honest but for spellcasters. We do play the Spellbook engine, so we are playing 1 copy of Blue Boy right here. When it's normal summon, you can add any Spellbook card from your deck to your hand. Actually, it's a Spellbook spell card, my bad. Last but not least, we do run the 1 copy of Keeper of Dragon Magic. This card literally searches for any of your fusion or polymerization cards as long as you discard a card from your hand, and you can reveal a fusion monster from your extra deck and special summon the specific listed material. So let's say if you reveal a Dark Magician's, you're supposed to special summon either Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl. It does not work if you just do any spellcaster. It has to be a specific material. We're gonna go on with the spells. We play triple copies of Circle, Dark Magical Circle. When you activate this card, you can look at the top 3 cards from your deck and add any Dark Magician or Dark Magician spell or trap card from the top of your deck and add it to your hand. Then you put the rest of the cards on top of your deck in any order. The only thing that does not add to the hand is Eye of Timaeus. Don't ask me why, I just explained. And if Dark Magician is special summoned or normal summoned while this card is on the field, you can target 1 card on the field and banish it. Next up, we are playing the best spell card in the deck, and that is Triple Soul Servant. This card literally searches for any Dark Magician, Palladium monster, or Dark Magician Girl from your deck and place it on top of the deck. And whatchamacallit, if you have Dark Magician Girl, or any Palladium monsters with different names in your graveyard, you can draw that many cards. So let's say if you have a Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl in your graveyard, you can draw 2 cards. Our next Dark Magician card, we are attempting to play the 1 copy of Dark Magic Attack. I just added here just for back row removal. You could easily substitute this for literally any card you want. You could substitute this for Harpy's Feather Duster, or Lightning Storm, or Twin Twisters. You don't really have to do Dark Magic Attack. You could literally substitute it to whatever you want. I just decided to add it in here because it wipes out the back row. And last, for the Dark Magician spell cards, we are playing one of my personal favorite spell cards, and that is Secrets of Dark Magic, because this card could both ritual and fusion summon at the same time, as long as you use Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl as the materials for the tribute or fusion summon. Speaking of fusion cards, we are playing 1 copy of Magicalized Fusion, just for extra fusion plays or our last chance of actually winning. You could use this to summon Quintet. Spoiler alert, we are playing that. We do run Red-Eyes Fusion because, again, we are playing Dragoon in the deck. You could just easily go into Dragoon just with this 1 card. Also, Predaplant Verte Anaconda is easy to go into. We do run 1 Polymerization because there will be certain situations to where, what if you have Red-Eyes Black Dragon and Dark Magician in your hand and you want to use the effect of Anaconda, you could use Polymerization instead of Red-Eyes Fusion, because Red-Eyes Fusion turns Dragoon into the name Red-Eyes Black Dragon, which is a Call by the Grave target, but a lot of Call by the Grave is at once, so that is really not the issue. We do run 1 Instant Fusion because we are playing Thousand Eyes Restrict in this deck. And last but not least, for our fusion spells, we are playing 2 copies of Super Polymerization, just in case if we're dealing with Dragoon. And we're playing a lot of Dark Monsters, so we take their Dragoon, and we just take our win. And again, like I mentioned earlier, we are playing the Spellbook engine, so we are playing 2 copies of Spellbook Secrets. This card literally searches for any Spellbook card. I was confused with Blue Boy earlier, but this one is the one that searches for any Spellbook card. And you could get Blue Boy or Spellbook of Knowledge, which we are playing 2 copies of. I am so glad that this card is getting a reprint in the upcoming structure deck, which I am hoping that is getting a reprint in a structure deck, because this card needs a reprint bad. But for those of you who do not know what Spellbook of Knowledge does, you can send 1 Spellbook card from your hand or field, or tribute, or not tribute, or send 1 spellcaster on the field to the graveyard and draw 2 cards. Speaking of drawing cards, we do run 2 copies of Allure of Darkness. I would run 3, but I didn't have room for the deck, so... And plus, we are running a bunch of Dark Monsters, so might as well use the utility of Allure of Darkness. So yeah, we play a lot of spells in this deck, so that is a lot of spells that we are playing in this deck. Now it's time to go into our trap cards. 2 copies of Eternal Soul. I love and hate this card at the same time, because what this card does is that you could special summon Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard, and it can help you search for Dark Magic Attack as well. But this is a pretty big downside. If this card is destroyed or whenever it leaves the field, all of your monsters on the field that you control are destroyed as well, which is kind of fine because we do have some monsters that do have some destruction effects, and Dragoon cannot be destroyed by card effects. We do run 1 copy of Magician Navigation. This is in here just for an extra negation if I control Dark Magician, but I am planning on cutting this card out with something else. What that card does is that if you have Dark Magician in your hand, you can special summon it from your hand to the field and special summon any level 7 or lower Dark Spellcaster monster from your deck. It's in here just for the negation. You guys could substitute it for whatever you want. One of the tech cards that I decided to add in the deck is Storm Dragon's Return. Now, this is just in case if we banish Dark Magician by our Allure of Darkness, we can use Storm Dragon's Return just to revive it back and put it back on the field. And during the end phase, if it's not destroyed, we could put it back to our hand. And to be honest with you, I would actually cut Magician's Navigation with Storm Dragon's Return, if I were to be honest with you guys. Last, for the trap cards, we are playing Triple Summon Strike. This card has won me so many games. This card literally just says no to monster effects and special summons just by paying a few life points. Yeah, this card literally steals games. That's pretty much it for the deck. Now let's go ahead and go with our extra deck. Now that we're moving on to our extra deck, so starting off with our fusion monsters, we play the one copy of the Dark Magicians. It just requires a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, plus any spellcaster monster. This card basically allows you to draw a card for every time a spell card or trap card is activated. So whether if it's during your opponent's turn, or your turn, or you activate a spell, or your opponent activates a spell, as long as a spell or trap card activates, you can draw a card for free. And if it's a spell or trap card, you can set it. And if it's a quick play or trap card, you get to activate it the same turn. Anyways, next up we have is the fusion monster that puts the fear of gosh in everyone. And it is Red-EyesDarkDragoon. This card cannot be targeted. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects. It pops monsters up to the materials. So if you use Red-Eyes Black Dragon and Dark Magician, you get to pop 2 cards. And then you discard a card to negate anything. And whatchamacallit, you gain 1,000 for every monster. No, you gain 1,000 every time you negate. Next up we have Quintet Magician. Now the reasoning why I add Quintet Magician is because we are playing Magical Ice Fusion, and we can easily set a lot of spellcaster monsters in the graveyard to easily summon Quintet Magician. All he needs is just 5 spellcasters, but to activate its effect, you actually need 5 spellcasters with different names to blow up your opponent's board. Also, it cannot be destroyed by card effects, it cannot be tributed, and it cannot be used as fusion materials. So if your opponent tries to super poly this, they can't do it. If your opponent tries to kaiju you, or you're going against monarchs, there's no out to that. Next, for our super poly targets, we have Predaplan Dragostoplia and Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. I might cut one of these into Mud Dragon of the Swamp, because with Mud Dragon, it just needs 2 of the same attributes, but with different names. I mean, not different names, different types. So I might just cut one of these into Mud Dragon of the Swamp. And last but not least, we have a instant fusion target, which is 1,000 Ice Strict to suck. For XCs, we have Ebon Illusion Magician, and what he basically does is that you detach a material to special summon a normal spellcaster from your hand or deck, and if your normal monster attacks, then you get to banish any card on the field. And I believe that target, oh no, yeah, that does target, my mistake. And we also play Naruto, because we can easily go into rank 6s in this deck because of Magician Souls and Apprentice Illusion Magician. And we also play number 11 Big Eye, because it's a spellcaster, and it also steals your opponent's monster, which you can also link this away. And we also play Red-Eyes Flame Model Dragon, because we are playing Red-Eyes Black Dragon in the deck, and if we happen to XC summon him, not only that we get to burn our opponent, but if Red-Eyes Black Dragon is in our graveyard, we can actually detach the material to actually special summon him. Mandatory! We play Anaconda. If you want to summon Red-EyesDarkDragoon, you have to have this card. It only copies the effect of the spell card, which are fusion or polymerization, not the restriction. So let's say you try to dump Red-Eyes Fusion, it only copies the fusion summoning effect. It doesn't copy the you cannot normal or special summon monsters the turn you activate it, because you're not really activating the card you're using the effect. Now if you were to activate the card, you would have activated it from the hand. Next we have the One Link Spider, because
Dark Magician is a normal monster, and we usually go into Link Spider just to go into Anaconda if we have a lot of monsters on the field, because Anaconda requires 2 effect monsters, and Dark Magician is just a normal monster. And what could substitute a normal monster? Link Spider, because Link Spider requires a normal monster. And also we play the one Link Karibo, because we do play Thousand Eyes Strict, and we do attend to lower our opponent's attack. And for the rest of the Link monsters, I just added a bunch of like random ones. So these 2 are just completely random. You guys could put in whatever. I just thought it would be fun just to include them. So I put in Crowley because he searches for spellbook cards, and well, only if it's Link summoned. If it's Link summoned, it searches for spellbook cards. There we go. I almost butchered that effect right there. And then it also gives you an extra normal summon without a tribute of summoning a level 5 or higher spellcaster. And then I also added a Koshkick Magician because it's a spellcaster, and when you Link summon it, you get to bounce back in an opponent's monster that it points to, and it does not target. Now, does this card come up a lot? No. But if I'm going against, let's say, Dogmatica, I would just like send these 2 to the graveyard, and then later on, I can just use Magical Eyes Fusion to summon Quintet Magician. So that's pretty much it for my Dark Magician deck profile. If you guys have your honest opinion about this deck, you know where to go. Just leave a comment down below, and also share this video if you like. Also give a like on this video and subscribe. Alright, this is my Dark Magician deck profile. Alrighty guys, peace. B-Boy out.